Hey guys, we are back for Lovecraft Country Season 1, Episode 5. Y'all, this episode, has some serious OMG moments. I did not even fucking see it coming. I really didn't. But let me get into it. Let's start. It's called Strange Case. I don't know if I said that. Okay, so Ruby, she wakes up. Well, actually, we don't know it's Ruby yet. We see a white woman waking up, and the white woman sees her hand. She jumps up, goes in the mirror, and then we hear her say, "Wake up, Ruby, it's a dream. Wake up, wake up, wake up." It's Ruby. So whatever witchcraft, voodoo, hoodoo shit that William, Christina's friend, whatever he did on her, so now she a white woman at this point. So she running outside around the south side of Chicago or whatnot, and she looking all disheveled, hair looking bogus. I'm like, dang, could have turned her into a different looking white woman, like one that was like her body size too, or like one who was equal. I don't know, she looked at ratchet, whatever. It's like she could have been a meth addict the way she's walking around with her haircut, hair not done and all that, but she looked crazy. So the white woman running around, and the black folk are like, "Are you okay? Do you need some help?" And she's like, "My name is Ruby Baptiste, whatever her last name is, and I don't know. I'm confused and everything." And then she bumps into a little black boy. Then the police come from out of nowhere and knock the little black boy down. No, grab him, scoop him up, push him on the car, and about to beat down this little black boy after she done bumped into him and spilled his popcorn, and go talk about some ma'am, are you okay? Like, what you do, boy? Did you hurt her? Did you molest her? I'm like, molest her in broad daylight? What the fuck are you talking about? But I mean, y'all gotta remember the times. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Not even remember the times. They'll do that to a black person right now. But anyway, I'm like, and then she stopped and she's like, "No, officer, it's okay. I'm just a little confused." I was like, "Oh, good, because your husband's looking for you. He's been looking for you. He called us looking for you." I'm like, "Her husband? Who the fuck is her husband?" So at first I'm thinking it's like she's some other white person, like she switched bodies with somebody or something. So that's what I'm thinking. So I'm like, okay, maybe she switched some bodies. You know how like the trading places type shit going on. Then she get back to the they take her back to the to homeboy William, and cause she's like, "Please don't take me back there." "No, I don't want to go back there." She's like, he's like, "It's okay. Your husband, he said that you be having these fits, you'll be all right." So they deliver her back to the husband, and it looked like she was a woman in distress trying to get away from her husband. But again, in these times, they would deliver you right back to your abusive husband, no questions asked, cause that's just how it was back then. Anyway, sometimes now. So she go back to the house or whatnot, and then she just start, when she in the car, she started making this crackling, pop, lock, and drop fucking noises. I'm like, what the fuck wrong with her? And then her eye color changed, and then once William gets her back in the house, you can see he had like Dexter and shit with the plastic down. I'm like, who about to die and get murdered? And she was like, please don't kill me or whatever. Or she said, I don't want to die. And then you can see stuff coming in through her face and all that, and then it blurs out and you can't really see what's going on. But then all of a sudden it's like her skin was coming off us. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So then it cuts off and goes to something else. Oh, but before that, when she hold on. Oh yeah. Oh wait, he stabs her at first, and then it goes off, and then you can see him pulling her skin off. It was freaky. So from there, we see Montrose, and he done killed that little deity, whatever that being was, that from last episode, that Titus Braithwaite was who put that siren curse on, and they went through the whole thing and got her, and then Montrose fucking killed her. And we see Montrose, he's sitting there with blood on his hands, and it's the next morning. Letty and Tick come in, and then they like, where homegirl at? And he was like, oh, she's gone. And then Tick immediately just got up, and he was like, what about the pages? And then Montrose didn't say nothing. Man, Tick must have went the fuck off and just started wailing, whop, 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 beating the shit out of Montrose, and Letty screaming and tell somebody to stop, to get some help, stop, to help stop him. And they finally come and pull Montrose off of pull Tick off Montrose, and he's like, get off me. Then he run down to Letty's what's the name, green room, not green room, or dark room, and he was like, tell me that you took pictures of those pages, because that's the only, if Montrose got rid of them pages, then that would have been the only pages, at least he had the pictures of them. And then she didn't say nothing because he was just so irate and crazy. She was just shook, and she just came downstairs with a baseball bat because she didn't know she was gonna knock a nigga out or what. She didn't know. So from there, we see Ruby is back in the bed, and it's actually Ruby, and William's talking to her, and all of a sudden it's like butterflies flying around, and he's talking about butterflies and going through metamorphosis, and he speaks of how he used to always want to experiment as far as changing people and all like that. And his friend, the crazy ass Professor Hiram, from the previous owner of Letty's house, the Winchester house, I guess helps him develop this serum for the potion that changes people into whatever, from white to black, or change whatever you want to change them to or whatever. But she was like, it's magic or whatnot, because remember she was like, magic exists and all that. He's like, yeah girl, duh, and everything. And then he went on to say that Hiram was more interested in creating portals to different astral planes, and not into what he was into with the switching and changing the bodies. So she was like, okay, what did he say? She had asked him, like, is she free to go? Because she's like, is she hostage up in there? And he was like, you're free to go, come and go as you please. And then he left the fucking big ass, because he's like, he got something else to do anyway. He left a big ass wad of cash for her and some more of that white people potion for her. And then first she get up and like she about to leave without nothing. And I'm like, girl, you better at least grab her money or something. So then it jumps off to, she goes ahead and takes the potion. So we see Ruby in a day in the life of her life of being what she would do if she was white. So she's just going around, walking around. She dressed up to the T's and all that. She going to the store. She went and got some ice cream, tried to pay for the ice cream, but they gave it to her for absolutely free because she white, and I guess you get all types of free shit at this point if you're white and you look well to do. So from there, and then in the background they played the poem for Colored Girls Only, and it was really interesting that they put that in at the same time, because she's sitting there enjoying this whole nice little thing and the whole white life and how things would be if she was white and everything. I'm like, okay, whatever. Then from there it jumps to Letty and Tick. Letty goes to Tick and she tells him, like, look, I did take pictures of the pages, I just haven't developed them yet, that's why you didn't see them right there. Then she was like, I've never seen you like that, you scare me and everything, because she's like, would you have killed Montrose had I not come and stopped you? And he was like, I don't know, because he's like, I dreamt about it all the time when he used to beat me when I was younger. I'm like, dang, but his father used to beat him. Generational curses. It's fucked up. He's like, I didn't even know I had that type of rage in me until I went to the military, and I guess it just came out again. And she was like, oh, I was scared. He's like, I don't want you to be scared of me. Then all of a sudden they just started hugging and fucking and stuff, and it was all hot and sweaty. I'm like, I guess they don't believe in bed. This is her second time having sex ever, and she just now, first time was in the bathroom, now it's on the couch and on top of a car, and I'm like, girl, so unrealistic. But anyway, whatever. So they was just getting it in all rough and stuff. I'm like, girl, ooh. But anyway, so they do that. So then we back to Ruby living her best life, her best white life, and she back at the house for William's house or whatnot, and she was like, I know that this gonna come as a price, because it's a million little black girls on the south side that you could have gave this opportunity to. Why did you pick me. And he was like, he said that when he first met her, he just knew something about her was special or some shit. And when he met her, it seemed like there was magic present. He felt magic in the presence of her when there was none. It was real spit some game type shit. The way he said it, it sounded real cool. And I would have been like, oh, for real? Like, it would have made me be like, ooh. But yeah, anyway. He also told her, like, yes, when the time comes, I am going to need a favor for you. It's going to be for my female friend. He's like, is that a problem? She like, nah, it depends on what the favor is or whatnot. And he was like, it's unconsequential or whatnot, but I just need you to do the favor. But until then, you're free to do, come and go here as much as you please and, you know, do what you want to do. So she was just like, all right. What else did he say? Oh yeah, he was like, you can free to come and go as you want in whatever skin that you want. So I guess he hooked her up with a full supply of the potions so she can go be white if she want or go be black if she want, and then have the money. He also asked her, like, how come you didn't spend any of the money I gave you? She was like, I guess the only currency she needed was her white skin because didn't nobody fucking charge her for shit. I'm like, damn, what the fuck? You still gotta pay for stuff? What the fuck? I'm like, they just gave her shit. Oh, yes, precious white lady. Let me just give you some free shit. Like, what? Okay, whatever. Like, she was getting some celebrity status type shit. I'm like, she wasn't even hot like that, but whatever. Anyway, so she always says that, and she goes on to say that she always just wants to live her life uninterrupted. She's like, she's fine with being a woman. And she's like, it's hard being a woman, especially a colored woman. She's like, I always want to be myself, but I'm always constantly being interrupted. But in her white skin, she feels like she can go off and be herself. And then he asked her, well, what would Ruby go do if she go live her best life? Where does Ruby go? Straight over to fucking Marshall Fields to apply for that fucking job in Marshall Fields. I'm like, girl, think bigger, dream higher. You are a white woman. I know these are times where women are still just entering the workforce. I mean, it's the 50s, but I mean, I would aim higher personally. I mean, damn, if you could, why would you go try to get the same job that you wanted when you was black? Like, I would aim and try to get some better shit. Like, what the fuck? But anyway, that's her dream, and she really wanted to do it, so that's what her ass went. So she going, and she talking about her name is Hillary Davenport. I'm like, okay, girl, with the extra white name, Hillary. So she was going, and she was interviewing, and she had, you know, he was, the manager was like, wow, you have all these kind of qualifications. You took all these typing courses and all this, and, woo that, like, shit, I hope you're not trying to take my job. She was like, and then he asked her how she felt about colored people, and she kind of paused, and he was like, it's because, she's like, he's saying because since they hired the other black chick, or what, not other, because she white at this point, since they hired the first colored girl, because Marshall Fields got rid of their whites only policy, a lot of their employees quit because this girl started a job. Girl just trying to make a living, and these motherfuckers quit. Well, then you must not need the motherfucking job then if it bothers you that much to be around a black person. Fuck y'all. And then she was like, well, I mean, if she's qualified or whatnot, I'm sure it's, and she works hard, I don't see any problem with working with a colored girl or whatnot. And he was like, okay, cool, I just wanted to make sure it was all right. He's like, don't get it twisted. We not, race crusaders or something, or he was trying to make it like we still all about white folks mostly here, don't worry about it, like it ain't gonna be no big thing. And then but Ruby went on to say, well, Hillary aka Ruby went on to say, like, she don't mind black colored people as long as they doing their job and shit. And he like, all right, cool, whatever. And then he goes on to offer her the assistant fucking manager position. I'm like, wow, okay, really? Like, she just thought she was just gonna get the little clerk position with the other little black girl. But I'm like, nah, girl, you white now. You white. So you gonna get a whole other thing. So from there, she sees where her currency is getting her. So from there, she said, so her first day on the job though, she goes to the other colored girl, and the other colored girl, she talking to her, and she like, oh, so I heard you applied to this job on a whim. I just want to get to know my employees. She's like, did I tell you that? I'm like, girl, this is your first time in whiteface talking to her, so be easy about what you're saying. And she's like, oh, so-and-so, the manager must have told me. And she's like, you must be well qualified and all this, blah, blah, blah. Because she wanted to know more about this girl business and why she got picked over. And she got picked over her when she had been applying for years and years or whatnot. While, Black Ruby. I mean, as Ruby being, you know what I mean? So she was like, oh, she finds out that homegirl Tamara did not graduate from high school, ain't took no extra typing courses, resume is looking bogus, and ain't had none of that stuff that Ruby had been doing and constantly applying. But I'm thinking, in my mind, this makes sense to me though, because she probably was overqualified. That can mess you up with a job as well, because I've had this happen to me at jobs where they're like, well, you too qualified to work here, so they won't even look at your resume. They'll push you there. Like, they either think you're not going to stay, or they feel like, or in this case, they don't want a too much of an educated Black woman at this place. But I've had that happen to me at jobs. Like, I'm like, why didn't I get hired? And then I know somebody who damn sure ain't as qualified as me who gets the job. And yeah, sometimes you have to conform and apply for certain jobs that are beneath what pay grade you got. But shit, motherfuckers got bills, and your bills ain't, you got to take what you gonna take. But sometimes jobs will absolutely do that. But in this case, they probably didn't hire Ruby because she was overqualified. And you could see from homegirl, she didn't have no fucking background. It's like they want somebody who is not qualified so they can keep you down and lower and not uplift you or do any better. That's probably why they hire her and not Ruby. So she should think about that. But anyway, but she was a little salty, and so she was petty, and then she gonna tell Tamara, the little employee girl, that her hands is ashy. I'm like, don't be hating, girl, don't be hating. So then we see what else happened? Hold on, y'all. It goes to Ruby is in the break room with the other, I guess, managers or whatever, white women or whatnot. And then she's like, y'all, come on, let's go back. We had our 30-minute break. Let's go back and get back on the floor. And it was like, girl, fuck that shit. You can sit there and we can go back to the salt mines, or you can try on these pumps, and then all of a sudden, Hillary / Ruby started dancing. She started dancing like a Black woman, but this is still a white woman playing this role. She wasn't really getting it like that, but she was getting it enough for them white girls. Like, oh my goodness, girl, you doing it. You almost good enough to be in that so-and-so dance. And she's like, forget that. She's good enough to be with the colors. And I'm like, whew, I'll be disgusted. Like, oh my goodness. I'm sure, like, this would be a mind fuck for anybody to be around white folks when they're completely uninhibited, especially in that time. I mean, shit, even in this time, you around a certain white folks and how they talk about people of color in general. Whew, fucking blow your mind. Not really, but really it would. You'd be disgusted. And that's what she was, because they were sitting there talking about, like, yeah, as long as they don't hire any more Tamaras in there, because they said that they don't want to see no more Black people working there. And then she was like, well, she's like, oh, we should go over to, then one of the white chicks was like, oh, we should go over to the South Side. Yeah, it'll be just like we're going on a safari. I'm like, bitch, what? Like, this the jungle? I'm like, for one, the South Side at that time was a very nice place. Now, South Side, now Chicago, it's kind of fucked up. But I'm just saying, like, the South Side, they weren't even bad. They just like want to go see Black people like we're fucking an exhibit. I'm like, are you serious? But yes, they very much so were. And Ruby was just like, ugh, disgusted. You can tell. So from there, we see, and then Ruby / Hillary asked them, has their boss ever come on to them? They were like, oh no. Whatnot, because he was a little bit too into Hillary when he hired her, kissing her hand and all this other stuff, but she just let it go. So from there, we see they get off of work, and then, because I guess we go through the whole damn work day with Hillary / Ruby. She get off work, they all come out, and then who is waiting for Hillary, looking all debonair with a nice car and shit, is William waiting for her. And then she was like, and then they were like, ooh, who is that? Hubba. And then they were like, ooh, that's you, girl, that's you. I was like, she was like, yeah, I mean, when he behaves. And then, you know, Ruby really feeling herself at this point. So she walk up to him, and then he about to give her a kiss, and she go like this, let him just kiss me on the cheek, honey. Okay. And then he was like, what, you don't want me to kiss you as Hillary? And then she was like, whatever. And then he was like, well, my friend needs you to do that favor for me tonight, because she was about to take that the white woman potion, because she has to take I don't know how many hours the potion lasts, but I guess it lasts 24 hours or something. But he was like, hold off on that potion, because Christina needs you to do that favor. She needs you to go to a dinner party. And then she was like, and then he was like, go in the back of the trunk, there's a box with your name on it, girl. And then she like, let me open this box. What's in the box? This all decorated, cute and nice, a fucking server uniform. And she looked at him like, motherfucker. So then we see Ruby go, this is completely mostly a Ruby episode, like pretty much Ruby / a little bit of Montrose episode, just so you know. I mean, I'm 20 minutes in, y'all should be able to tell that by now. So she is serving devil eggs at the lodge for that police captain. So she, or whatnot. And she going around serving deviled eggs and shit. And then Christina shows up, and Ruby is like, you an hour late. And she's like, William does like an assertive woman or something like that. And then she gives her Ruby this like little circle thing with a some type of symbol on it, and she's like, I need you to plant this in the police captain's office. And she was like, the police captain's office? She's like, oh hell no, y'all got me fucked up, y'all trying to get me killed up in this bitch, I can't do it. She was like, look, this lodge is rightfully William's, but the police captain shot him in the back and threw him in a river and left him for dead. And I helped him, and they think that he's still dead, and I helped him come back to life or some shit or whatnot. If you care anything about him other than what he's given to you and the things he's done for you, then you would do this. So Ruby go ahead and she goes to the captain's office, plants the little thing or whatnot, and then she hears some noise coming from the closet. Now, we heard noise coming from that closet when Christina was in that fucking office, and I was like, who the fuck is in that fucking closet? That's creepy and scary. And she goes and opens the closet. Some dude hung up, and he got like fucking stitches all around him, and he bleeding and gushing and shit. I was like, ugh. And then she hears the captain or somebody coming, so she has to go jump in the closet with him, and she's trying to like muffle herself, and I guess he smelled real bad because he probably been in there for I don't know how long. And then he was talking about how he's sweating and then she overhears him talking, and he say something about trying to get rid of Christina. He also told them to get him another shirt because he was sweating real bad. But y'all, I need to go back. I just wanted to hurry up and start doing this recording. But is it me, or did it look like he was had a black person's chest and a head, so and a black like, I don't know, it looked like his body was Frankenstein, and his torso looked like it was a black person's torso, and his arms and head was sewn on. So I'm real confused. That's what it looked like. I'm about to go back and look at that after I'm done filming this. So I'm like, what the fuck? So I was very confused at that, but you never know on this show, y'all, because this whole show was a whole mindfuck for me. And I had to think about everything that happened. Like, as soon as the end of this episode happened, I had to come back and rethink everything that happened, that's been happening. But anyway, from there, what happened? Let me see. From there, we see Tick and Letty, and Tick is because it jumps to Tick and Letty. Tick is sitting there trying to decipher them pages, and he having a dream, and he's dreaming again about his ancestor Hannah, the pregnant slave who got away or whatever, and her running out of the house again, out of that lodge house, and she's saying, mouthing something to him, and the house is on fire, and he's like, what are you trying to say? And then all of a sudden he catches on fire, and then he wake up, and Letty's like, you've been going at this nonstop. And then he said that he was trying to decipher the language of Adam for them pages, and he only has one word that's translated and one other symbol that was on this ring that he has. And so he has 11 of the letters that are in this language to decipher it. And I mean, that's pretty good to crack a language. That's, you can fill in the gaps with all that. So he's trying to decipher these pages. So from there we jump. Oh wait, no. From there we see we don't jump yet, because Letty was like, well, I guess it's best that Yamanakamu, whatever that man, woman, that being that they rescued or whatever, Siren, it's probably better that Montrose let her go, because I don't want to be holding her there against her will. And Tick is like, Montrose didn't let her go. When he said he got rid of more than the pages, alluding to he killed her. And then Letty was like, I can see this is horrible. This shit is all evil, and it's the devil's work and all that. And then she was like, well, it's not evil. It depends on how you use it and whatnot. And we just using it to protect our family and protect us. And she was like, yeah, well, he killed old girl to protect you. So how's it gonna affect us when we trying to protect ourselves or whatnot? So she made a good point. And how is it's changing all of them to be like something that they not. So then it jumps to Ruby. Wait, no, we saw the Ruby part. No, actually it jumps to the part where Ruby's in the closet, and then that's when she see the captain and the Frankenstein looking stuff. But I already told y'all that part. Then back at Marshall Fields, it's another day. We see her back at Marshall Fields, and she's talking to Tamra. And Tamra was putting some shoes up, a display or whatever for the shoes. And then she's coming down hard on Tamra, like, you got to make sure that these shoes go with the monochrome, and you have to do it so we can attract our high-end clients. And she was like, I'm sorry, it's just my first, Tamra just started working there. She's like, I'm doing my, she's like, no, you have to do better than your best. You got to be better than these white people, because they crazy, and they'll fuck you up. They'll have you up in the closet with your tongue cut out. And then she was just saying all types of shit, because Ruby is going through a whole mind fuck. And I was wondering what she was gonna kind of break, because she was real cool about the changing the bodies and shit. And how come ain't no crime or police coming around looking for pieces, nothing going on the news about people finding pieces of a dead woman nowhere, a white woman's skin everywhere. Like, she leaving these skin pieces, she ain't cleaning it up. It's just like, what? And ain't nobody caught her when she been changing out of her skin like she had to do it one time when she was in Marshall Fields. I'm like, what the hell? So from there, her boss walk up on Hillary / Ruby while she's talking to Tamra. He's like, is everything okay? She's like, oh, everything's fine. Tamra just said that she'll take us out to the south side, so we can all just go let our hair down and let loose. I'm like, okay, that don't even sound like that's gonna be a good thing. I hopefully don't know black folks get in no trouble because they want to go have some fun and go to the jungle. I'm like, okay. So from there, we see there was another my bad, I missed the whole thing, but I'll talk about the whole Montrose part, because Montrose shit kind of happened all separate from everything that's going on. But I'm just gonna address all the Montrose stuff right now, just so I get it out the way. So Montrose, after the shit happened with him and Tick, he went over to his friend Sam, the bar owner's house or manager or whatever, and as soon as he went up, knocked on his door, came in all with the silent gangster approach, and then all of a sudden he just come in and turn homeboy around, and they just start fucking raw dog nasty with spit and stuff. It was real gross, and it wasn't gross because they was gay. It was gross because it's just like, you don't even know if he took no shower. You trying to do it all up in the butt and stuff, and that just didn't seem clean or hygienic to me. I was like, ugh. And then he went down and was trying to kiss him. And then Montrose didn't want to kiss. And then he started going down on him. I was like, whew, okay, well, get it how you live then. Whatever. Then the next scene with Montrose and homeboy, he's still at his house. I guess it's his house still. And they all hanging out. And it's the Sam dude with all his he dressed in drag with all his drag friends, and I guess they friends, because it was some men who weren't in drag. I guess they just like are into that with them and everything. And then they were talking about, you could see that all them people know that Montrose is a homeboy's boo, okay? So they been together. So, but Montrose ain't said a damn word. He just sitting there drinking, being silent and angry and in his closeted feelings or whatnot. And then the next scene with Montrose is because they all getting ready for a drag show. The next scene is with them in a drag show, and homeboy Sam, he looked cute with his little drag and stuff on, and he won the drag show. It looks like it was a contest. He looked like he won, and then he go over to Montrose, and then they start dancing and whatnot, and then Montrose really just let himself free at this little gay club or whatever club, and he just started dancing and twirling around, and then finally they kiss and whatnot and have like a nice little moment and stuff. That's pretty much what happened with Montrose. But y'all, that was a nice little tidbit, little side story, but I really want to get down to the meat and potatoes of it, so I'm gonna go back to what was happening with Ruby. So back to Ruby's situation. Let me see. They Ruby and them, well, not Ruby slash Hillary and Whiteface, they off on the south side. They at some juke joint, and they sitting there listening to me talking about some, they just got really good groovy band here, and they having some drinks and whatnot. And one of the white girls, she's sitting there eyeballing one of the black dudes. That's what they want to be going to south side for, to get them some of that mandingo. Y'all ain't slick, or what they think that every black dude do not have a big dick, but whatever. So, and then they just want to go dance, and they're dancing all up on these black people and all that. Then they grab Tamara, like, come on, Tamara, show us how to do the something bunny hop or the jungle bunny hop or some shit. I'm like, bitch, I would be disgusted. I don't care. I mean, I know she's trying to keep her job and fit in or whatnot, but Lord, couldn't be me. I just couldn't. I'm just happy I don't live in those times. I mean, these times ain't that great, but it's better than that. And then it was like one of the boss came too, and he was like, Hillary, do you want to come on? You gonna dance too? And she was like, I'll be out there in a minute. But she just really was disgusted, and she couldn't take no more. So she was standing in the alley with her little potion, Ruby was, and she was just sitting there like, ugh, I just can't take this shit. So she just went ahead and changed back into being Ruby and from being Hillary. So from there, after she went through her metamorphosis, she hear some screaming or whatnot coming from the back of the juke joint. And it's Tamara and her boss dude, and she was like, let me go, screaming. And then homeboy was talking about some, come on, just let me smell it. I'm like, smell what? And then he was like, I heard all you girls smell sweet. I'm like, if you don't get your creep ass out of here. And Ruby sees his old rapery ass, and then Tamara hits him and then gets away from him. So thank goodness he don't rape her or nothing. And he's like, you nigger bitch. And I was like, see, oh Lord Jesus, it's oh, Jesus. But anyway, Ruby saw that shit, and she was really annoyed by that. Ruby's back at William's house, and she didn't take no shower. She's just sitting on the couch looking crazy. I'm like, girl, you is getting people's nice linens and stuff, blood all over it. I guess like, they got magic to change people in the shit. You got magic to get my blood stains and stuff out of the fucking off the couch and shit. I'm like, cause you real rude. I'm like, take a shower, damn. And how you get there for being looking like that? It's some gaps that needs to be filled in. Did she have a car? Like, how she get there and nobody question her? And she in her blackface now. Well, not blackface, she's in her regular skin now. But whatever. Maybe she was close. I don't know. Whatever. But she see Christina coming up from downstairs, and she's like, you're not William. And then she was like, why is that door always locked? I guess it's some door to a basement. She was like, that's the only door that's locked in this house. And she's like, what's down there? And Christina was like, I guess she was like, I guess you had some problems. I guess Ruby got interrupted or whatnot. And then she was like, he told you about that because she confided in William about how she's, always getting interrupted in her life or whatnot. And then she was like, I understand you and I deal with this. And then Ruby was like, hold on, pump your brakes, because the only because she was like, I know the disillusion and all this and all. And then she was like, hold on, because the only thing that a white woman is disillusioned with is herself. And then they go on, Christina goes on and says, and like, you right, white women want to be black and black women want to be white. It's like, it's a struggle, because there's certain things that you get with that white privilege, and there's certain things that white women won't that black women have, blah 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 blah. It's a really complicated ass struggle. Everybody should be happy with what they are, but the playing field is not level, it's not fair, so it's always gonna be a problem. But anyway, they're just talking and whatnot, and what Christina says, she was like, William gave you that stuff, the potion or whatnot, but he gave you that to do whatever the fuck it is that you want to do. You don't have to, like, she went and immediately went and got a job at Marshall Fields and shit. Like, girl, is that really what you wanted to do? That's weird. You could have did anything else. You could have went around traveling or some shit, but you just, she think real small. And I think what Christina was saying is like, what do you want to do? Like, what, if you could do something, like, what would Ruby really do if had she be uninterrupted? You know, and that's what she just left Ruby with. Like, girl, go do you. Like, live your YOLO, live your best life with the white skin or black skin, whatever you want to do. You have the power to do it. I'm giving, like, William giving you all this fucking money and access to shit. Think bigger. Because I'm like, she was thinking real small. My ass would have been acting a whole plumb fool, but hey, you know, we two different people. So, from there, we see what Ruby really wants to do. She goes back to her job and she tells her boss, like, I'm giving you my notice. And he was like, you quitting already? He's like, why? And she was like, I just wanted to quit because from the moment I met you, this is her as Hillary, obviously, because that's who has the job. She's like, ever since I met you, I've been attracted to you, and I had to quit my job so we can fuck and all that. So she just starts, I was like, ugh, and I'm thinking like, okay, is she gonna fuck him to what, get some type of power over him or get a promotion? Like, why but she already quit, so I'm like, what's she trying to fuck him for? So what she do is she like starts taking his clothes off, pull his pants down, then she put his belt buckle around his neck. I'm like, she gonna kill him? What she gonna do? Then she like pulls him over to her, and she sits down, have him licking on her shoes, talking about some suck it. And then he does, because he's that type. And he was just like, oh, he was just so excited and everything. And then she puts her panty drawers in his mouth, and then she like gets up and turns back around him, and she takes one of her heels and she starts shoving it in his ass. And so he's like, please, screaming. Well, he got the panties in his mouth, so he can't scream, so can't nobody hear him scream. And she like rapes him with this fucking stiletto heel, and I was all the way here for it, because he attacked Tamara and he called her a nigga bitch. And then Ruby, she shed her skin at that very moment when she was doing that to him. And then he looking at her like, what the fuck? And she was like, I want you to know that a nigga bitch did this to you. And I was like, yes, Ruby, yes. Because Ruby was getting on my nerve. I'm happy that she went through this little transformation and metamorphosis, because I like the way she was sitting there talking about if black people just did this and they just need to work hard. Because then I'm like, no, a lot of black people work hard and still don't get shit. The world is not set up for us. So, like, girl, no. And I'm glad that she had this fucking eye-opener, because I really wasn't here for how she was talking episodes ago. And y'all know that, too, if y'all watch my reviews. If you haven't, go watch the other reviews of how I didn't like the way she was talking about black folks. So, from there, we see Letty and Tick, they having a little moment, and they talking about how Letty in the bathtub, and she's talking about somehow she was saying a prayer for the little siren lady, and she said she never caught on or never really had true faith or whatnot. And then Tick started talking about how he had a girl over in Korea, and cause Letty was talking about she never believed in faith, and her mom was always hopping from one man to the next, so she never really had a loving household. And then Tick was like, he didn't have a loving household, and he had a girl over when he was in Korea. And then she was like, well, was it special? Did you love her? And he was like, I don't know, because I ain't never had no love to compare it to, like no real love, because he's like, his parents' love was just a love of endurance and it wasn't real. That's because your mama was in love with fucking your uncle and your father was probably in love with some other nigga, but he don't know that yet. So they just both was saying like how they just don't know how to really, I guess, love people, but they both agreed that what they both had was special. So that was nice and a cute little loving moment. So from there we see what's the name? Ruby is back at William's house, and William comes in the door, and Ruby standing there. She's like, William, I need to talk to you. What's behind that door? And then William look a little disheveled. He's like, hold on 1 minute, and I'll talk to you. And then all of a sudden, he started like flipping and switching and changing. I was like, don't tell me that he's somebody else too. I didn't know what the fuck he was about to change to. Y'all, this was the mind fuck of the episode, because once he shed his motherfucking skin, I'm like, is that William is Christina? Now, when this is get you a woman that can do both, what the fuck? That is the epitome of that. I'm like, oh hell no, because I was thinking like, shit, I wouldn't want to be a white one switching to a white woman. I want to switch to be a white man, because the world is yours in the patriarchy if I was Ruby. But y'all, Christina is William, and I'm like, what in the little mama / little bow wow is going on? I was like, yo, I did not see that coming. Kudos to them for that one, because I definitely did not see that shit coming. So that made me just think back on all the episodes. I'm like, wait, they never were in the same fucking room at the same fucking time. It was always a switch off, and I never paid attention. And I was like, I'm like, yeah, she got all this hoodoo voodoo magic type shit, and she probably do these spells and all that other stuff. So I was like, wow. So Ruby girl, are you gonna stay with Christina / William now that you know that she Christina and William? Because I mean, she was hitting that. She like she was hitting that right. So I mean, so y'all gonna be cool and all. Like, hey, and she got money. I would stay with her. Fuck it. Like, you like William. She had all types of swag about her being William. I'm like, what in the entire fuck? Y'all, that shit threw me through a whole fucking loop. I was like, wow. And then because Ruby was like, you was William the whole fucking time, or you was Christina the whole time. And I was like, wow. Because I did. I'm like, what's like 1 minute she's this person, 1 minute that person. It was like, it's so much stuff else going on in this show. I ain't even peep game. And I was like, hell to the no. That was a good one. That was a good one. And that was definitely a mind fuck for me. So after that, I thought the episode was about to end, but it jumps back to Tick, and he finally, I guess he decoded something. And as soon as he decoded something, he jumped the fuck up and he run and he called like he did before episodes ago. And he called, I guess, his Korean bae, because he called that long ass phone number. And then he was like, how did you know? And then she was like, I told you, you should have listened to me. Because remember, last time he called that number, he was like, you shouldn't have left because you gonna die. And then once it pans off to what he just deciphered from the pages, and it said on his brain, and it says die. So I'm like, that means Tick gonna die? Who gonna die? He gonna die? What's going on? But she did tell, she's like, you should have listened to me. I told you. So I don't know if that means that it's just death already coming for Tick and he can't do nothing about it or what. But y'all, I couldn't even really be fazed by it. Tick dying, may or may not die, because that Christina Braithwaite / William shit had me thrown through a motherfucking loop. Y'all, that shit was crazy. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching and rocking with me. Hope everybody's doing well, washing their hands and staying well. I will see y'all next week. What do y'all think gonna happen? And now I gotta go back and think about shit that William was doing and all this other shit, because I'm just completely fucking confused. And of all the people, because I thought, like, y'all, I thought that Christina sent William after Ruby to get close with them, but I'm like, if she Christina, she already in it. So I'm like, y'all, I gotta just go back and rethink what her motives is, and maybe she just really does like Ruby. I don't even know. Y'all, this shit just threw me through a whole motherfucking loop, and I am just like mind blown from that. Good writing. Very, very good writing. It was a very interesting episode. I hope y'all enjoyed it as much as I did. I will see y'all later. I hope y'all doing well, like I already said. Love you, love you, love you. Peace. Bye.